Hi, in this video I will show you how to put together the free Teapot card from Simply Crafty SVGs, and it also has a little insert to place a tea bag into inside the card. So here are the pieces to the card that are cut out. This is, like I said, a freebie from Simply Crafty SVGs. So it's a card that is, you could say it's A2 size, so that's 5.5 by 4.25 inches tall, so it's a standard card size. I wanted to do that purposely. And what we're going to do is also inside is make this little tea bag holder, so it can be glued inside, and it's kind of an extra. So we do have a box card envelope for free as a freebie on our website. You could use that, or you could it should fit into a standard envelope, but it'll just be tight. It's just something fun, but you don't need to use that either. I just thought this would be a fun card for an everyday card, like thinking of you, or so you don't need to use the tea component, it just would be a teacup. So with that said, this is a really simple card. So here's the card part. I already folded it. It's like that. We'll put that aside for a minute. Here's the holder. So it's just going to go like this. We're going to glue it like that. Shut. So let's go ahead and layer the teapot. So the other thing is, in the file is, for some reason so funny story if you're watching this now, I mean, as of the time I created this video, this was supposed to be something you could print and cut, but my printer died, and all the printer I'm interested in replacing with, they're all out of stock because of the, I guess, because of the pandemic. This is during COVID-19. So anyways, what I did is a workaround, and it kind of cut funny, but the final file has a little bit more edge on this, is I drew it with a pen, so the outline drew, and then I actually just colored it manually to get around, so I could show you kind of what a print and cut would look like. And I'm going to put this on the inside of my card, but you can put your own sentiment on the outside. So with that said, let's go ahead and start. So it's super simple. So for the teapot, it's layered. So all you want to do is, we'll put this piece together. So this will go under here, and then this only goes one way, like that. So over there. So we'll go ahead and piece that together. And if it's easier, you can put this on there directly and then put that on top. So we'll just do that. Well, actually, no. Let me flip that. But that will go right there. You can do that, but I want it on this because I'm going to actually pop this up. So it's all a matter of how you're going to put it together. So I'm just going to add a little glue. So this is the back side of that little piece, the top of the teapot. And then making sure that the texture side, this is American Crafts textured cardstock, I'm going to make sure it's facing downward so it shows through those little cut holes. That little flower cut. Then I usually just put my fingers around it to get it in place, and I tried to be careful about how much glue I put around those openings. So, and then we'll go ahead and put this correctly here. So if you're not familiar, this is the first time you're seeing a video of mine or my stuff, I have lots of free files that you can try. If you were interested in buying one, this is a good way to get started with our files. There's lots of tutorials as well on our website and on our YouTube channel as well. So make sure it's facing the correct way, and we're going to have equidistance on the side and bottom, so just make sure that's where you put it. Put a little bit in the middle. So just space it so there's equal space on the bottom and these little sides right here. Now we can go ahead and this will line up right there exactly. So if you want to put it on now, you can. I mean, this is all, doesn't have to be in a certain order. So we're just going to go ahead and put it on. You could have put the top part of the teapot on first, but I do recommend pre-folding the card and then just putting it out like this, because if you have this underneath, you might get glue on the underside of that. So we'd rather get glue on the table somewhere where it's not going to affect the card. So I'm carefully trying to line it up. So it should line up on the bottom, that top part. So just lightly put it on there and get it lined up. Then this goes right here, so you can put it flat like that. If you want to do that, I would say something like inking the edges would help separate the top from the bottom. That's up to you. It's a look some people like. Some people are not so fond of it. And then I wanted to pop it up, so I'm going to pop it up. I'm going to take some Scotch foam tape. I already cut them into the sizes I want. I like this because it's easy to cut, and you can cut them into smaller sizes. And there's a big size. There's bigger sizes too, but I think this is a 1/4 inch one. I do smaller things, so usually this one comes in handy, and sometimes I have to cut it even thinner, just in half. But I usually use a special scissor for that, because I don't want to goo up the scissors that I have that I use every day. Sometimes I do, I forget. So I'm going to pop it up so it gives a little dimension. So just make sure when you do something like that, you kind of look above. I'm kind of looking above, trying to do it without putting my head in the video. So it gives it dimension. That's just a simple teapot. And then let's go ahead and, I'm not going to add, there's some panels to put on yet. So let's go ahead and put this together. So these, you just want to score these on the side, and the scores are slightly off this. They're a little bit further out, so just, it's not a big deal. It should just be fine. As long as it folds around and glues to the back, that's all that matters. And again, you can make this card without using this insert. That's why I like the idea of this card, because it could be a good everyday card or a Mother's Day card. You could use it to put tea in. If I were to use it to put tea in, it's a good friend of my mother-in-law's that said something about a card like that. I'm not a tea drinker, but if I were to do it, I probably would hand carry it or send it in a place for send it with like a gift or something, like a gift box for Christmas or something like that. So you can see a standard, these are 2.5 inches by 3 inches. So it'll sit in here. So what you would do is just, of course you wouldn't have this, but just glue it on the inside anywhere you want, just as long as it's underneath this top part. So this, like I said, it's like a print and cut file. You could do your own. I just thought it would be something fun. I'm just going to put on the other side here. And then you have enough room to write too. Or you can put this on the front, and have room to write a personal message in here. You could do a little bit on this side too. Just be careful, because we're going to add a couple panels, but you don't want to write in this area. So let's go ahead, I'll add that. Have one done here. So this wouldn't be easy to send in the mail, just because it's not flat. So you'd have to send it like in a padded envelope or something larger, just to make sure. It's easier to go inside, further in than out, because you want to make sure you don't see it. And then we're going to go ahead and put these little panels on. And I'll show you shortly. I just want to emboss them with my embossing machine. So if you haven't seen that before, I'm using a Cuddle Bug, but I'm just going to use, I decided I like this one. I'm going to use this, put it in, and just run it through a Cuddle Bug, which you could use a die cutter like a Big Shot, or it's one of my favorite things. This one was at Anna Griffin, but Cricut doesn't make Cuddle Bug anymore. So I'm just going to situate it the way I want, and because you see this is going to go there. Make sure. So when I take them off the mat, I forgot to tell you this. When I take them on the mat, I actually, on the back side, I put eye on the ones that I know on the right that are going inside the card, so I know automatically the other ones are outside the card. So when I emboss them, because they're going to go right here, I'm just going to make sure they're in the correct orientation. So when I get back in just a moment, I'll have them embossed. So now I embossed them so they have that little texture to them. I mean, you could always use a pretty pattern paper too, but I wanted this pattern paper to stick out. That's the reason. So we're going to go ahead, and this needs to be shut like this so you know where this goes. So we're going to place it with a little space around it so you can see equal space around that. So I'm just going to place them. So it kind of looks like one full card, even though it opens up with the cutout teapot on the, you know, I didn't want to do it shaped. What I'm trying to tell you is I didn't want to do a shaped card. I was going to do a shaped card where it just the shape would be the outside of this. But I find sometimes if you don't, it doesn't fold well, it'll get offset, and I don't like that look, so this is a way cleaner look to do it. So again, I'm just making sure there's equidistance between the teapot right there and the right edge. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you see that's how it's looking. So when it opens up like that, it's just when it's closed. And then we'll do the same over here. So on the front, this is how they're situated. I always go from the corner because it's just easier. And I just made sure I had a little bit, not as much glue towards the edge, so I could wiggle it around a little bit and get it in place. This is why I like using wet glues rather than let's just say an adhesive tape sometimes. If I know exactly where something's going to go and I don't need wiggle room, things to be moved around, so I have to make sure I know where it goes. I have used adhesive tape on like an ATG gun if you're familiar with that. So it wasn't perfect, but there you could add your own sentiment on the front, and then when you open it, a cup of tea from you to me, a cup of tea to you from me, excuse me. Again, that's meant to be a print and cut, but I had to make do since my printer died. So that's it. I mean, there's a couple ways you could embellish it further, but it would be a really quick card to make and to gift to somebody. And especially if you're these days, let's just say you're dropping by because you haven't seen a family member that lives nearby or a friend. Wouldn't it be fun just to give them that card? And kind of like during these times where you can't really spend a whole lot of time with them without masks and all that social distancing. So that's it. I hope you like this freebie. If you do, please give me a little thumbs up below, and or like a thumbs up or subscribe. I just lost my head for a minute there. I think you need to see that sometimes. So super simple. Again, we have lots of other freebies. If you're new to us, feel free to go to our website, download them, try them before you buy anything, and if you never buy anything, that's fine too. Just have fun and craft. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.